Dear comrades, I am here to bring you the encouragement of His Excellency, General of the Army, President of the Republic, and Head of State, Abdourahamane Tiani. 36 years is a long time, but 36 years is also brief. An event of this nature is never forgotten. We encourage you, but we encourage you in your work as pupils and as students. We do not encourage you to skip classes. Whatever the reason you gather, what God has done, He has done, and no one can do otherwise. We will all remember. I have listened to all the speeches and all the demands. They are well-founded. They are justified. We need classrooms. We need scholarships. We need food. We need everything. But first and foremost, we need security. When you do not have security, you cannot think about other things. That is the truth. The decree for mobilization has been signed. General mobilization. When we speak of general mobilization, there is an objective to be reached. There is a goal. The reason we decided on this general mobilization is that we are facing people who, because of our resources and our wealth, want at all costs to drag us back into the state that once built their prosperity. And to call a spade, everything happening today and everything you see that brings us this insecurity is caused by France. This same France that considered us people not worth talking to. We were seen as people who had not yet entered history. We were called the poor. But today we see who is truly poor between us and them. Just the day before yesterday, one of de Gaulle's grandsons came out to say that France is being mismanaged and that things are falling apart, that Macron has ruined everything. Well, this mobilization, you must understand, has been decreed so that we may prepare for war. Mobilize yourselves and stay ready.
Niger announces mobilization to prepare for war with France. A new peak in Sahel tensions. The West African nation of Niger has announced a undressed national mobilization to prepare for what its military leadership described as a looming conflict with France, marking a dramatic escalation in already fraught relations between the two countries. What was announced on February 11-12, 2026? Nigerian military officials publicly declared a nationwide mobilization decree meant to prepare the country's population and armed forces for war with France. The announcement was delivered by General Abdourahamane Tiani, a senior member of the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland, CNSP, and Chief of Staff to Transitional President General Abdourahamane Tiani, during a large public gathering in the capital, Niamey. In forceful rhetoric broadcast across Niger, the general insisted that Nigerians must ready themselves for conflict and argued that France would soon wage war on Niger. He claimed French policies contributed to the country's insecurity and economic woes, although Paris has denied any intention to intervene militarily. Crowds at the event reportedly chanted slogans like, "Down with France," reflecting a surge in anti-French sentiment. Roots of the crisis. The declaration of mobilization reflects broader geopolitical shifts in Niger's political landscape. 2023 coup and breakdown of relations. Relations between Niger and France deteriorated sharply after a military coup on July 26, 2023, which ousted democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum. France had been a key security partner and stationed roughly 400 troops in Niger under anti-terrorism agreements. End of military cooperation following the coup. Niger's ruling junta terminated defense treaties with Paris and demanded the departure of French forces, a withdrawal that was completed by the end of 2023 after protracted negotiations. Resource disputes. Tensions are also tied to disputes over Niger's vast uranium resources. The junta recently nationalized the country's operations of the French nuclear company Uranium, prompting legal fights and worsening diplomatic friction. Nigerian officials have repeatedly accused France of destabilizing the country in collusion with domestic adversaries and Western powers, allegations France strongly denies, framing them as disinformation or an attempt to manipulate public opinions. France's response. Officials in Paris have dismissed the war rhetoric as information warfare and reiterated there is no plan for military intervention in Niger. The French General Staff emphasized that the allegations do not reflect actual French policy or intentions. Instead, France maintains it has no interests in igniting conflict and has moved to reduce its military footprint across the Sahel after years of counter-terrorism operations there. Regional and geopolitical implications. The mobilization announcement comes amid broader shifts in Sahel geopolitics alliances and new blocs. Niger, along with military-led neighbors Mali and Burkina Faso, has formed the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, a bloc focused on regional security independent of traditional Western alliances like EAS. Pivot away from the West. Since the coup, Niger has moved closer to non-Western partners, including Russia, for military and diplomatic support, part of a larger trend among Sahel military governments. Analysts suggest that the war rhetoric may also serve internal political purposes, rallying public support, intimidating foreign opponents, and reinforcing the junta's legitimacy amid ongoing socio-economic pressures and violent extremist threats. Conclusion. Niger's proclamation of mobilization against France marks one of the most dramatic moments in the post-colonial relationship between the two countries. While France rejects any notion of military confrontation, the episode highlights the deep fractures affecting regional security, resource politics, and diplomatic alignments in West Africa. Whether this rhetoric translates into concrete conflict or remains a symbolic posture remains unclear, but the development underscores the volatility and complexity of Sahel geopolitics in 2026.